Okay, in this video we're going to look at some of the functions available in R. So we already saw some examples of functions previously. So here's an example where we use this operation to create a vector that contains 1, 2, 3. So actually this object here, this C, which stands for combine, is a function. And what we do is we pass in to the function 3 arguments, the numbers 1, 2 and 3, and the function combines them into a vector and then returns them to the value x. And then if we print out x, you can see it's a vector with 3 variables, with 3 elements. Sorry. Okay, so another function we saw was the length function, so we can calculate length. This function takes only one variable, which is a vector, and when we press return, we can see it returns the length value, which is 3. Note that if we don't assign the returned value to a variable, it just gets printed to the screen and we lose it. So if we want to keep that, we would do and LX now stores the value 3, okay, which is the length of x. Now there are other vectors, other functions associated with vectors, such as the seek function, which is a function for generating sequences of numbers. So here this is another way to call functions is to pass in argument names as well. So we say from 1 to 2 by 0.1, and it produces a sequence for us that we could assign to another variable. Okay, so here we said that length takes one argument. What happens if we try to take the length of both x and y? We get an error message, and that's because length only expects one argument. Okay. How do we know this? Well, we can use the documentation in R, which is very good. And if we get the help up on function length, note that the help is also a function, and it opens up a HTML pages of information. The documentation in R is really good, so I would recommend you get used to using it. And here you can see under usage it says length x, so it only takes one argument. Okay, another useful function is the ls function. Notice that this is a function that doesn't take in any arguments, and we specify the function call with the empty parentheses. And this returns all the variables that we've created in the workspace. So you can see we've created LX, X and Y. And it's good habit to keep track of the variables you've created in the workspace. Okay, so there's also numerical functions in R, as there are in most programming languages. So we can calculate the exponent of a number. We can calculate the log to base 10. So that would give the answer 3. That also has natural logarithm, which is base e. And we can nest function calls like such. So This is because the log of an exponential number is the exponent. Okay, and there's plenty of other ones that you can look online or in the documentation. Now, one of the main benefits of R is its statistical capability. In fact, it is purely designed for performing statistics. And I won't go into all the details here, but there's various functions for generating probabilities, generating variables from probability distributions, etc. So here we're just going to create 10 draws from a normal distribution. So we're going to use a normal distribution with mean of 1 and standard deviation of 2. Okay, and again this is 10 values that we're going to draw. So you can see that it returns 10 random numbers from a normal distribution. And to show that they're random, if I hit return, again we get a different set of numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign that to another variable z. So z now contains 10 random numbers. And there's also data analysis type functions in R, so we can calculate the mean of our vector z. We can calculate the standard deviation. We can calculate the median or the sum of z. And a good place to look is online. A browser such as Google will bring up lots of different functions that you can use in R.